Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. We are here at the home of Icon, which to me is a real legend and the beginning of something that we see more and more of. But Jonathan Ward had the vision to start something that I think is just truly spectacular. Well known for their Broncos, their FJs. Once in a while, they do things that go completely out of the wheelhouse, which we're about to jump into. I'm gonna bring Jonathan in. This is my pal, Jonathan Ward. And I rarely get nervous, and I know you well, so I shouldn't be nervous.
We met at Starbucks before all this nonsense started decades ago.
I know, dude, but nervous and excitement can get mistaken easily, in my opinion, right? And it's more excited because at an early time, you had a vision for something that hadn't been done yet. I love when people do that, and then they actually pull it off.
So I'm excited too, because this thing is just batshit nuts, and there's so many things to go through. And you're right, I mean, I was into the hot rod SoCal car scene already, even before I had a license. Someone introduced me to Tony Nancy. He used to have a shop here in the Valley. Top fueler, incredible hot rod builder, really a trimmer, just the finest interiors. And I literally would go there every third week to sweep the floors, shut up and listen, and learn everything I could from Tony. It was all mom and pop, hot rod shops, pro touring, whatever, pick your style. But no one was taking advantage of computer software for emulation before we just started welding and trying. No one was CAD modeling, no one was thinking of repeatability and elevating quality, no one was taking advantage of the regional aerospace manufacturing we have, not to mention scanning and 3D software that's evolved greatly and further empowered Icon to geek out, geek out, geek out. I really wanted to get the foundational elements locked in the computer, emulated, tested, and maximized, so then we can focus on process and surface and material. And then we have this research and development but it's the derelicts and the reformers, which are the one-offs. This is a reformer that we're talking about now, which is highly inefficient, but critical for learning. We try new build concepts, new content, new powertrain, whatever manufacturing, design process, and it's a money pit.
By the way, I'm going to simplify real quick for you guys, because you'll figure out quickly, Jonathan might be smarter than you. I know he is me.
No, I just talk fast, I'm not smart.
But I want to simplify so people can understand that most hot rod builders, most custom car builders, do one car at a time. That car might take 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, multiple years. That's the only one of that. And then they move on to the next one. So it's years and years and years on one car at a time. You early on saw the concept of, if we take the OEM type approach, right, where there's systems in place, now what we can do is, instead of taking 2 years to build what looks to be a one-off FJ or a one-off Bronco, it's a handful of months to produce that car, even though it's still a bespoke vehicle, a one-off in a sense. It's not. You're using the same chassis, brakes,
and it's all proven. It's all repeatable.
Over and over.
Then you can get more intelligent on process, and more clients in the one-offs are coming at me omakase, which I love. So the sushi bar where the chef's gonna serve up whatever he wants you to eat. It's gotten to the point, this client's the second one-off, and he's like, I love my Power Wagon. We built in this kick-ass white crew cab Power Wagon years ago. He's like, that's above and beyond everything. So all I gotta say is, on this one, just take it further. What else can you do? I want an automatic trim.
That's his one request, is automatic transmission. And that it's a Cherokee, now go.
And originally he wanted us to build a Wagoneer, but in this department, we try and keep it one and done, so they are singular sculptures. There's not gonna be another. So I said, how about a Cherokee? They're cool. And he's like, that's cool.
Let's talk through all the mechanical first.
So it's a 75 Jeep Cherokee, a little bit of revisionist history thrown in the mix. The idea with the reformer line is, we don't want it to be redesigned in a modern, therefore temporary context. So whatever the era, whatever the design language is, we want to be loyal to that, do a deeper dive into it, which sometimes means even going to the OEM's archive library to see what was on the prototype that the pencil pushers killed, never made a production, and go, oh, that's cool. Let's realize that from that original sketch. So it depends on the project. Stay in context for the original design era, but evolve every single touch point, increase the quality and the honesty, and then mechanically scan the body, get it in CAD, convert the polygons into full cloud data, get the surface, engineer a new chassis, and then balls out from there. We took a 79 Jeep pickup, because I really like the steel fender flares on the bed and front fenders, but I really like the Kaiser era Jeep front rhino nose, this funky cool shovel grill.
Yeah.
We bought a really nice 75 Cherokee. Then we bought 2 other donors. That was a foundation for the body shape. Mechanically, Art Morrison is my hero. We've been his top client for, I think, 15 years.
Morrison chassis on everything you do.
Everything. This is a Art Morrison hardway mandrel bent chassis. We are running Curry Industries, a Dana 44 high pinion fine spline in the front, Dana 60 high pinion in the rear. Brembo is our exclusive brake partner, so Icon Brembo Hydro boosted 6-pot front, 4-pot rear, 2-piece slotted and vented rotors, titanium hardware, all stainless plumbing. Hydro boost assist, Willwood Master. Then we're running a Crate 6.4 SRT8 Hemi Fuelie.
Oh, bitchin'.
Love this motor.
Bitchin'.
Unfortunately, I don't have the same level of respect for the transmissions from Mopar, because like even if your intake allows you 5 more horsepower than the OEM application, in my experience, they grenade. So we did a hyper-modified, stronger internal 4L85E 4-speed auto overdrive, HGM standalone controller, Mopar OEM crate OBD2 for engine. Then we did an Atlas 2 twin stick shift on the fly, 2-speed part-time 4x T-case. TIG welded, mandrel bent, ceramic coated in black for stainless single exit. It's really quiet and chill until you really stomp it, which that was another thing with the client.
Yeah.
Because these motors can get pretty damn rowdy.
Sure.
I'm a big hater for open element air filters that I see so many high-end custom builders use. It just kills me, especially on a 4x.
Yeah.
So the inner fenders are fully reworked, so it's a fully enclosed OEM high-capacity intake. Gets its cold air point here at the nose. We learned so much interesting Mopar history doing the research for this, and not just Mopar. Massive deep dive in Native American culture history, which is a whole nother story once we get out of mechanical.
Yeah, you warned me that ahead of time. Yeah.
So like, you know, the nose, it looks like a Kaiser 60s era, and that was the point.
Yeah.
But it's far from it, really, at this point.
Yeah.
Purpose-built, cross-link, wire, Deutsch Tech triple seal, 36-pin bulkheads for principal harness connections, all Aeroquip fittings on everything, purpose-built, radiator down to being a goober and trying to match the radius of the nose line. Stainless steel plumbing for overflow.
I love what a geek
Every
you
knob,
are.
every switch, everything is purpose-built.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Mechanical.
So you guys get the picture here, right? Which is the depth just on the mechanical alone.
Oh no, I forgot.
Oh shit.
Radius arm front, 4-link rear, high truss cradle, Fox Racing nitrogen charged, 2.5-inch body, 12-inch travel, Eibach coils, tunable front rear sway bars. All right, now we're done with mechanical. Promise.
Okay, but now let's go into where, in my opinion, where you show kind of how you think when you deal with all the elements of design. Like you make your own friggin' jeans, you know, you make your own, I'm not even gonna ask about your friggin' underwear, but when I talk about design, it's not just vehicle design, it's any form of design, and you bring that all into what you do in a vehicle, and I genuinely, dude, I marvel at it. So let's walk this all the way back and go.
Before we leave the nose.
Yeah.
Original grill, killer design, made like a Pepsi can, just stamped tin. And if you actually got in there and touchy-feely, you know, the edges are rough, and, you know, and it'll bend if you sneeze too hard. And then another part of the cool history discovery, these from the factory are just block-off plates. People call them dog dishes or dog bowls. From what I discovered from Mark Allen, good friend of mine, head of design at Jeep, recently retired, the folklore behind that was that originally they were a 4-headlight design. There was a miscommunication. The electrical system was already done for a 2-headlight, but the stamping wasn't updated, and they were like, oh shit, we have 2 extra holes. So someone drew up these little cover plates, and on they went. But they're literally solid plates, they do nothing. So this one adds flow for the transmission cooler The driver's side has a dedicated carbon Kevlar 3D printed receiving plenum. So that's the true cold air intake that then factors into the fully boxed and isolated air filter. Front grille, again, super sexy stock, but the second you touch it, you're like, eh. These are all 6061 solid billet block machined and then chromed. Because, at that point, you're already so inefficient. Like, well, shit, might as well make it a little deeper. Because, this V meant the block was already so big. We're like, well, let's extrude it. So after we did the scan, let's create an added dimension in the depth. And if you touch it and you feel it, like,
no, I know.
It's super solid. Yeah. And the back sides have a nice chamfer on them, and it just feels more honest.
Yeah.
And then, like dumb stuff like the original little mushrooms for hood rattle, they're like raw steel and crappy rubber and they fall apart. So these are all nice and machined, gives us more control.
Yeah.
Side badge, original design, I love the language.
Yeah.
So we lifted the font style from it and created the icon letters to match that font. We kept the V8 spear and graphic the same, but changed it to 392 to reflect the powertrain that's currently in it. Then we color matched that with the whole vibe of the truck. So this blood red, which has symbolic relevance in the Cherokee culture, and also kind of tied into our Brembos, which you can't even see, but I know, and now you know.
And anyone that watches this knows.
And then the rear view mirror from the factory were kind of like an afterthought, parts been used from something else.
Right.
So we redesigned those, increased the view angle, and did a stainless steel pivot bar with brass wavy shims, so you have really nice control and stability.
So it almost looks like what it originally was, and yet it's so far
just
from
elevated.
it because it's so.
Same with the door handle. Big fun story, this Beltline trim. So Wagoneers, Cherokees, etc., they always had engine graphics on them. But I mean like Detroit white dude spelled INJUN. So for example, on a Cherokee, the traditional tribal graphic on the side has nothing to do with the Cherokee tribe. I guess I'll still probably get yelled at for misappropriating tribal, but hey, I didn't name it a Cherokee, it's already a Cherokee.
Yeah.
I love American history and design opportunities to learn, right? So I did like a gnarly deep dive, and along that adventure, which was, starts with Googling, then buying vintage books, then networking, then talking to a dear friend who's Native American. Do you have any Cherokee friends?
No, you're out smoking a peace pipe with an Indian chief. I know you are.
So I ended up finding this Cherokee chief who's a Jeep geek, and then I'm doing an event for my apparel brand in Utah, and some cool dude just walks up, like all native, everything all geeked out. Turns out he's Cherokee and a historian, and then his friend teaches native studies. So suddenly it's like, okay, it's on. We need to get rid of that graphic for starters. In the research, I started to notice that both in earthenware, like claywork, and woven goods, there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of changing graphics, but very consistently, my eye was drawn to this one, which led to this. So it's sort of like chevrons. If a member of the tribe was going to leave the safety of their land and the unity of the tribe to go on a perilous journey, both their water vessel and usually their blanket and the horse blanket, different symbols, but the eagle feather for safe flight was omnipresent. So we reinterpreted and evolved that graphic and replaced it with the belt line. And then when we were rendering it with our good buddy Eric Black, there was like an imbalance if it was a consistent graphic, especially due to the implied heaviness or weight of the black roofline. Mm-hmm. So then we decided to do it like a photo negative inverse. So this continues through here, but it turns into full black unless in direct sun.
Yeah.
And then does an inverse as you go to the rear.
Yeah.
And like we did DXF layered Mylar plot printed laser cut multicolor, gave it to our painter, like, here's our laser level and here's what you gotta do, and we're like this, and then do one color and then peel this one off and then the next. Old Mexican dude, and he's like, Holmes, if I had any more experience, man, I'd be dead. Don't tell me how to do it. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm like, órale pues, Holmes, go. It's like the guy, by hand, tape line, all of it.
Wow.
And then there's a airbrush dimensionality to it. The blood red carries all the way through. He did it all freehand. I can't find an error.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that's under the body clear. The way the factory did the two-tone body, the belt line break for where they decided to do black or principal color made absolutely no sense. I don't know why, I'd love to know why, but it like goes here and then it would dip down here, it would come around the back, then oh shit, we have to go back up, and then they'd go back up and they'd go back in. So we monkeyed that and changed it.
Yeah.
And this thing was in raw metal for about 8 months because we re-gapped every single panel.
Of course.
And the gaps just sucked. And then grafting these in, yeah, it would have been easier to mud this in, but I liked the separation. So Brian Stone at Stone's Metal Fab, we work with a lot. Brian rocked that. Factory fuel filler, we learned the hard way on the Wagoneer. They suck. You're like up on 1 foot like this, like click, 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 damn it.
Yeah.
Takes you like 20 minutes to fill it up. And it looks like shit on such a cool body. So we're like, hey, we did that once, we're not doing that again. So then we geeked out.
Oh, dude, come on.
Gas assist, CNC brass bushings, 6061, and that's your capless fuel fill.
Simply put, that's bitchin'.
Yeah. So while we were gonna monkey with that anyway and make this articulating, from the factory they're plastic, and you know my love for plastic, so we CNC chromed and enamel infilled that. And then the tail light is machined out of 2 blocks of acrylic, and then the tail light pattern is a LED circuit board. So then you can start geeking on, well, what do you want the light pattern to be? So, you know, do a starfire and you can kind of have some fun. Tailgate we didn't really screw with. I don't know if these were infilled from the factory or not, but we enameled that. This is the rear key, and they're just kind of nameless bland, so our lizard fit there, so we're like, screw it, we'll put a lizard on it.
I've picked up on a few lizards so far.
Well, we got the one in the engine bay, and we have this one right here. Yeah, and then because the whole headdress thing didn't make sense, we redesigned these badges.
Yeah.
And we brought in subtly the eagle feather thematic. And I ended up spending so much stupid time doing that, we made a custom sterling belt for the client.
Nice.
Added that. I mean,
Nice.
not rodeo style, it's chill. This I stole from Porsche. My wife's car is this color. I love it, chalk. And then this, to me, is the best black. Black and white are interesting. There's so many variants.
That's
so
true.
This is a Bentley black that to me is one of my all-time favorite blacks. We've used that a couple times.
We never touched on wheel and tire.
So forged aluminum, 18-inch, made in California, our design. The hubcaps cost more than the damn wheels because the offset is such that the traditional hubcaps or any of the go-to traditional solution dog dishes, they were too proud, they protruded, which for, you know, actual off-road's gonna suck. So those are hand-spun, hand-formed stainless steel one-off caps, which we tried so hard to avoid, but we couldn't find something that was just right. 285, 65 R18s for the tires, no stagger. And we always ask clients like, so do you want a spare or do you want a shit ton of gas? They always say shit ton of gas.
For sure.
So we displaced the spare stainless steel TIG welded, baffled external Bosch filter for the tank, and it's 32 gallons. Is that what he said, 32?
Are you guys following this here, man?
And then all that's plumbed in stainless as well. Because again, once you're in this deep end of the pond and you're sitting there hand forming it, why the hell not use stainless? Like same with interior materials and headliner. Like the headliner
Totally
on
agree.
these suck. They're a piece of cardboard.
I'm guessing the cardboard's gone from this car, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's kind of gone. So are the cardboard door panels. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Johnny's on the spectrum. Client wanted to keep analog windows, which kind of respect. Like props for
I'm shocked. I thought for sure it was going to be
my
the
sexy little double tap.
Yes.
We did do power door locks.
This is so bitchin'.
Oh boy. All right. We're near the door panel, so we'll start there. So the interior design was Western style. It was height of the elusive Naga beast, dielectric stamped in a tooled Western saddle style. But if you looked into it a little deeper, it was not reflecting any specific Western style. It was almost like a AI interpreted do Western style. So it was like there were curlicues and shit going on, but it didn't harken back to any tradition. being the leather goober that I am, my new leather goods brand, J Ward Collection.
Yeah.
So like I'm already there.
You just make me laugh, dude. I love listening to you talk. I know. I hope you guys are enjoying what you're getting here. I genuinely do, man.
We're like, no, we got to do that right. And the truck's going to live in Wyoming. And it just so happens that in Wyoming, the Sheridan style of leather tooling is one of the most famous and beautiful, in my opinion. And my good friend, Trajan, he has Mercury Leatherworks, incredible saddle maker. He's responsible for the Gene Autry Museum restorations of the old Hollywood Western saddles and stuff. He and I met at an alligator tanning class in Georgia, and we're like peas in a pod. And I'm like, once we had this silly idea, I called him like, Trajan, check it out. What about, could we? And he's like, oh, hell yeah, we're gonna. So I hate door panel clips and cargo clips. We laser cut in-house 2 layers, 2 different thicknesses of a marine fiber board, which then allows us to insert rare earth magnets. Obviously, you have to remove the window regulator door handle armrest, but even then I can grab this corner.
And magnetic, yes, I love that. And it goes back every single time.
Indexes, armrest, piece of plastic, ain't playing that. So CNC 11-piece design with these cool standoffs which hide small gauge wire for the electrical, because now it has an indirect diffused LED down below to help the floor. This chrome trim was inspired by the plastic factory armrest that had a piece of fake chrome to plastic. I think actually we did that in stainless. And then just for the tactile, we used 2 different leathers, so we wanted to keep the soft contact of this incredible Moore & Giles leather out of Italy.
Being more durable.
Yeah, and then this is all billet and powder coated. And that horizontal kick became an opportunity to thematically bring the eagle feather motif in. And just like the exterior belt line transitions through the vehicle, up here at termination points, the most compression of those chevrons. As you travel back, spacing, and then it continues all the way down the side of the cargo to just a full chrome. Hand-tooled the inserts here, redesigned the escutcheons and interior handles. This knob is inspired by the factory plastic one. That's the language. So then every knob, all the column dress up, shifter point, lights, wiper, Bluetooth audio controls, and all that, so you have more consistency. Steering wheel stock, pretty sexy, plastic, but sexy, but too big, like school bus. So scan that, get it into CAD, scale it down, CNC it and bill it, enamel paint it, and then the original horn ring looks stupid and too big, so ditto, add some chevrons, scale it down, B-side infilled to bring in the blood red chevrons and the lizard, and that's functioning horn button. But again, reduced scale to match the ratio of the modern box. Audio Focal Autotopia speakers, a single 10-inch bass, Bluetooth device dependent, no ugly modern head unit.
Nice.
Integrated dash knob. The principal knob is your principal volume. Then it has a sub rotation for your bass control. Same with HVAC, obviously they never had AC, but we centered those in the front in the same language. Stock gauges, they're sexy till you touch them, just plastic thingamajigger and then capillary tubes and, cable driven. So we took the chevron to laser, 2 different settings on the laser, 2 passes to create the chevron pattern to reduce glare. Paired that with the panel on the passenger side, and that's all stainless, and the housing's machined alloy chromed. Shannon at Redline Gauge Works, we kept the original font, but went to 180 mile an hour speedo, bit ambitious.
I was gonna say, come on now.
But the fonts were cool. We kept the idiot lights in it, and it's all modern computer VSS, accurate, but with the retro vibe. Idiot lights from the factory, there were 2 center dash, kind of a cool pod. So we took control over that, turned it into a 4-gang, and we added extra function indication for check engine, 4-wheel, low parking brake, and high range. Glove box, kind of weird that it's in the middle, but it actually makes a hell of a lot more sense.
A lot easier to get to it, right?
Put all your crap in there.
Hell yeah.
Client didn't want high backs, which I can appreciate. So we kept the original seat frames, but geeked out on them, restructured, introduced a little bit more rake. We used 2 different pore densities of closed cell foam Tempur-Pedic mattresses, by the way. So the outside bolsters
God,
are
how
a
far you
stiffer
go.
grab, and these are a bit softer. Tooling.
Dude, the touch of the leather, though.
this
I mean, the
leather's just
quality
nuts.
of this leather is.
So 2 leathers, because this you can't tool. I make leather jackets out of this leather. But then the tooling leather, that's a whole different art. So I'm friendly with the oldest tannery in North America. It's called Wickett and Craig. They've been in Pennsylvania since 1867, only closed once during COVID, briefly.
Wow.
So this is what's called vegetable tanned leather, which is actually a misnomer because they use tree matter, acorns, and bark for the tannins. And we're not talking like standard with a hammer and a Tandy stamp tool. No, Trajan sat there, and I know how to do this, but I'm not nearly good enough to execute at this level, so I called the master. He's literally sitting there and hand carving every single detail. And then it gets dyed, and then it gets a sealer.
Well, the pattern that I see in the seats
all by hand.
back here is
Starts with a pencil.
unbelievable,
Yeah.
man.
Then we CNC these little stainless with enamel infill, subtle icon badges. This existed kind of sort of from the factory, but complete redesign, lots of prototyping. So proper elevation, functional armrest. This, which would have been dead space, now you have 2 diameter compliant water vessel holder thingamajiggers that are stainless.
You know what
And then
simple people
machined.
call it? We call them cup holders.
Oh, yeah, cup holders.
Yeah.
Adjustable cup holders, high-speed USB twin ports, basin for your phone and shit.
Oh, of course.
Powder coated.
Yeah,
and
of
this
course.
is all the same leather but skived to a mill to get a nice tight friction wrap.
Yeah.
You'll notice the transfer case knobs continue the design language established by the window regulators, 3-point belts, redesigned the visor mounts because the factory ones are prone to failure, introduced the chevron. Same with the rear view mirror, took inspiration from stock but executed it in metal so that it didn't fail like the factory ones do.
Is there executions up here as well?
No, there aren't, Mr.
No.
Smartass. Leather wrap the wheel, Hargarten square weave wool, all hand hemmed and detail stitched. You know who Sid Shavers is? Master upholsterer. He's won many Riddler awards.
Okay.
And on and on and on.
Okay.
We trim this with Sid. And then like all the audio compartments have sub-hidden doors within the cargo quarters for accessibility and tuning. The rear inside plane of the tailgate had these like cheesy metal like tin runners, but it's a cool concept for sliding cargo. So we just took that, created again, wing shape pattern, extended it
talking about, can we pop
all
that
the way to
open,
the
Jonathan?
seat.
Oh,
So
did it?
now they're all solid stainless. And the cool thing with stainless instead of chrome is,
Watch.
as you eventually beat the piss out of it, you can just polish the buggers if you really give a shit. This tailgate is so heavy, there's so much dynamite in this truck. We geeked out on that and
I
then filled it and redesigned
tell you
it.
did.
But yeah, these are solid, they're not hollow. And now, see how it plays with the light? It's like spitting the sun and you'll get like this like star fire from the pattern, subtle chevron, integrated speakers and bass and tweets. Even the dome lights are scratch design. They're from a high-end super yacht supplier. Really good quality, but the housings were plastic. So we introduced that chevron and the subtle triangle insets and executed those machined in stainless. I'm almost done, I promise. Quarter window vent windows. Introduced the chevron. Those are plastic, prone to breaking. Screw that. Same with the coat hooks. Even the coat hooks have the 3 lines in it.
Dude, you're killing
And
me.
3 is a theme in this truck, and not by, but we noticed it from stock, so that was part of that.
So you kept bringing
even
it back
the stamping and that cool stamp pattern and the C-pillar and that cool.
I say this to Jonathan off camera too. But I love how I would hate to be inside your friggin' head. I'd probably have a heart attack. I love how you think, dude.
Look, dude,
And-
no one needs the shit I make. No one needs any of the stuff anyone in this growing sector makes.
No.
So if you're going to do it with ethics, do it with pride, do it to the best it can be.
Yeah.
But what's the point? There's already enough shit in the world. We say no to 80% of the one-off requests that we get. Because we'll be like, you know what, go to so-and-so. Like, it'll be half the price. It sounds like it'll more than meet you or me. You're good, party on, leave it alone.
Yeah.
If the platform and the client are exciting, then we're like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, we're
Cut for that
gonna
segment.
saddle up and we're gonna go drive, you guys. Hey guys, gonna interrupt the video real quick. because most of you don't know, but I was a working musician most of my life. My old band and I, Stonehoney, are getting back together coming up October 12th and 13th in Austin, Texas. We're gonna do a couple of gigs. It's gonna be a blast. Looking forward to it. Saturday night, October 12th, we're playing at a place called the Saxon Pub. Down in the description of this video, I'll make sure to put a link for tickets. If you want to come out, it'd be great to see you. So now, let's jump back into the video. Going out of a driveway, I don't have to think about going sideways and scraping anything. Oh God, I can already tell how wonderful this drives.
No drama, not trying to show how big our wiener is. It's not a speed demon.
Yeah.
It'll cruise along at a Hyundai with one hand on the wheel at a reasonable RPM, nice and chill.
Yeah, yeah. This thing drives like almost like a modern vehicle, you know, not quite like
I like. Still got your solid
that
axle.
There's and I like that. I like that you still know it's a classic vehicle, but it's so refined, man. I mean,
we don't want to kill the character, but we want to free you of the martyrdom. So drum brakes, 3 on the tree, carburetors.
Yeah.
Some things introduce obsolescence, because the system complexity will get to the point, or the source components from a modern car that you're repurposing by design are designed to fall apart at the end of a warranty cycle. So you go buy more shit.
Right.
So like, why build a custom with all that stuff that you know isn't built with the same engineering perspective? But the one that I hate is you'll see guys do builds where they'll use like a modern platform and a vintage shell, but leave the plastic dash and switches and all that crap. Just ruins the experience. Like the body would be like a cool sedanette from the 40s. You get inside and it's an 09 CTSV. That's cool in 09. But by 2012, you're like, what the fuck? And even in 09, you hop in and like, this doesn't have that pre-war gangster cool vibe. It
doesn't feel right. You've lost. Now you're forgetting ultimately what kind of car you're actually sitting in. Where this to me still feels, I mean, the touch and feel of any of the switches that you touch in here, the turn signal, everything feels so good.
Did you catch the clicker noise on signal?
Yes.
That's fake, because it's all LED. So that's actually an audio signal to keep the analog turn signal click sound.
Interesting, dude.
It'll do fun burnouts too. I know how you like your burnouts.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to do a burnout?
If you want. I know how you like to.
You do it. See, guys, that's respect right there. I'm not going to beat on somebody else's car. I'm going to let the builder do it. Once again, an amazing day getting to hang out with Jonathan. You know, you probably get a sense watching the video. Very interesting, very creative guy. And getting to experience this, you know, I've been in some of their other vehicles, but it's the first time I've been in a one-off Icon. And I mean, it's just spectacular, literally spectacular. You could get in and drive this car every day and not have to think about ever having another vehicle. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you got the depth of what Icon's about. thanks for always hanging and watching what we do, man. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, you guys, later.